afternoon. Welcome to the second of our 3 master classes being offered during the program for piano and strings here at Ravinia's Steans Music Institute. We have the pleasure this afternoon of working with Mihaela Martin on violin, who'll be working with 3 different groups you can see in your program. You also can see in your program that we have another concert tomorrow afternoon at 2 p.m. and Monday evening, another evening of Mendelssohn, excuse me. So we hope that you can come back and join us, as well as take a look at all the other wonderful events that are going to be happening here in the next 2 weeks as we close in on the final 2 weeks of the program for piano and strings here at RSMI. At this time, it's my pleasure to introduce Mihaela Martin. This afternoon, he'll be leading our masterclass, and thank you so much for being here.
Very beautiful, very, very energetic when it should be energetic, yes. And I was just thinking, you know, when it comes to energy from the Allegro, yeah. It's a very energetic movement, but I was thinking one should use different types of energy. If you could think a little more into this direction, like what do you want to express? Because I think the material we deal with, it's not very rich in terms of technical tools. Rhythmically, it repeats many times the same formulas. Also, it's a lot of action with the bow. So I was thinking a little more in the direction that if you could vary the length of your strokes, for example, to make something more like a wave of sound when it needs to be that, and maybe to be a little shorter when you want to play more playful, yeah. Also, there are very few like islands of lyricism here. You can be really warmer. You can really be generous with this and enjoy yourself these moments, because they are so short that one really you need to anticipate them. When are they coming? And to know exactly how to start from the very first note with the sound that would enable you to express warmth, yeah? So if you, these are just few general things, yeah? Because I don't think that this movement, though it should have unity, it should not be like in one package. You know, it has different angles to it, and I think that could help you feel the unity in the piece. Then to try to play with the same energy all the time. Now, the introduction. How do you see it? Do you see it? Because it's this dialogue and modulation. With the piano, yeah, the dialogue there. Do you see it every time when you take over from the piano, you start from a 0 point? No. Good. So then don't do that. So just try to, because an introduction, it's always a promise of the piece. And you have here moments, you have moments of tenderness, but you have also moments of passion. And that should come through, though it's a calm type of writing, yeah, in the introduction. Yeah, can we start again? Just 1 second. Tell me, do you feel free? Where? Sorry?
Anybody ever in this room?
Where is it that you don't feel free? What is it that makes you think that you're not free? So where do you feel that you're not free?
Already a little bit in the beginning, but definitely.
Yeah. Can you have a better bow distribution? And can you ignore the change of bow? Totally ignore it. Think about that the bow is a circle, And breathe, please. Exhale. Please exhale. Yeah, it's very important. Yeah, we have, sorry Cosima, we have forte. There is something that happens. Can you take that down bow from Simi? Don't squeeze the bow. Don't squeeze the bow. Okay, and I will try to get rid of the glissando. Exactly. You see, you have to know, like with a magnifying glass, a little bit to look. What does the left hand do? What does the bow do? You see, all these small technical tools, they lead to a good musical result. Yeah, it leads you in having a fantastic legato in this, which I know is not easy. But you have to be very aware of the timing, how you go from grip to grip there in the double stops, and really find it starts with a, exhale, yeah. Good. Yeah. It was a little more legato everything. Now, I have a question for you. Do you feel that there are two types of energy in this phrase?
Yeah.
So where does the second one start? Exactly. So, what does that mean? How should be the last note? And relax. Bow, where is your bow? Bow. Give bow. Yeah, because you see, on the same time, we cannot have a gap.
Yeah,
Yes. Okay, you have the modulation, right? Okay, where do you show it? At the beginning of the chord? Yeah, because if you show it on the top, it's too late. Exactly. So, hold the sound. This is a release, right? At the end. So you see, you always have to think about the life in the phrase. It's a cycle. It's like in everyday things, with human, plants, animals, whatever, nature. The phrase has to be natural. The phrase has an energy, blossoms, and finishes. So follow that natural cycle in the phrase, because then you would, technically it's easier. Because the moment you go with what is natural in the energy of the phrase, then you find a way also how to do. My impression first was you are stopping too much. You stop your flow. Don't stop your flow. Okay, one more time now. Okay, good. You see, the second phrase, my suggestion is, when a composer repeats either the same rhythm or sometimes the same fragment, it's a thought behind. So don't treat the same with the same with the same attitude, because you should be a little bit impatient to take over and to lead it somewhere, because when you first have this, when you have first here, it's low point, it starts. And these crescendos that he puts, start more, connect better to her in the second phrase. And what happens to your vibrato? Where is your vibrato today? Left it home.
It's somewhere else. It's back to college.
You know, when you start, put a good vibrato, you know, color the note. And yes, can you make really good connection between these two phrases, and don't work hard. You know, when you show difficulty, it's not appreciated. People don't like to see that. They like to see that you know what you're doing and you give them something. You have to give them something. You know, that's why they came. Connect also in your movements, you know, connect between phrase and phrase, and don't lower the violin. Keep it. Very good, you know. It was, you made me understood, if I would not know the sonata, yeah? You made me understood with this kind of accumulation of intensity, that there is some drama in this music, yeah? It's not just about repeated polyphony, yeah? It has a direction, yeah? Now, when you play this taram param, can you try to imagine that you're playing when she's playing? Don't stop feeling, don't stop thinking. Vibrato C sharp, please. Can I ask you, why do you play longer the note when it's a new note? But we hear it, really. Yeah, so I think you could make a bigger crescendo, actually. And
But
to...
still from the same point.
Excuse me?
Still from the same point.
Yeah. Yes, but just, you know, you make a bigger crescendo, and you have to feel the driving force between the notes. It's like a magnet. It should really pull you through to the last note. Sorry, I didn't hear E. You know, I don't think you move enough. I think you block a little bit the flow. It's like your arm, it's thinking more than producing sound, you know? You think here, don't think here. So you know that it needs energy, this phrase, yeah? And that it needs some kind of driving intensity to the goal there. You have to have a purpose there. So don't freeze, no freezing. Chord, the C major, is it more conclusive than the first one? So why don't you really give the right size of it? Tim, pam, 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 pim, pam, pam. Just pull the bow, you know. The second. Yeah, just 1 second, you know. I don't know if this is going to be too loud now. I hope not. No, not. Yeah, open the arm, open the elbow. No, not sostenuto. Yes, position the bow on the middle string. Yeah, and make the sounds now go really up. Yes. Okay, I just need to look a little bit here. Yes, can you? Quick. This is the movement it's yes, don't block the bow with a small finger. Okay, can we do this phrase? Yes, move the bow when you have stuff like that. Okay, good. When you come into this phrase, you have 2 notes to change the color. B. Can you make this really audible for us? That it changes. Now, one small detail. When you have this... how do you see these 8 notes? Do you see them as equal when you play them? The moving voice, yeah? So why don't you play less? You know, the moving voice, give a little more impulse, and the other one softer. Yeah? Maybe we can take just somewhere before that. Yes. It's still not enough. Yeah, so that you feel the bounce between the strings, even on a very small bow. Yes, and can you be more teasing, because this is quite playful, I think, this with the... Show the syncopation, the beginning of each syncope there. Yes, sorry. You know, when you go to the E string, it gets a little bit cramped, and I don't understand why. Don't contract the muscles, and give a little more speed. Yes, and be relaxed in the neck. It's like you have to go with the phrase till the end. You accompany the phrase till the end. Don't let it by itself because it loses, it loses intensity and it loses rhythm a little bit. Okay, one more time this section. I have a question for you. You have this phrase, first simple, second time you have it ornamented. Which one do you want to bring out?
Oh, from those two?
Yes.
Oh, the one with this, which is ornamented.
But you just did the opposite. You did you went inside.
Maybe more
Precious, yes, yes.
Does it necessary? I don't know. I mean, can I bring it out by making it a little bit?
Yeah, if you bring it out by, you have to have a strong feeling. Yeah, you have to feel fortissimo. Within the, the feeling always has to be fortissimo. You play piano, pianissimo, whatever you play, the dynamic. But the feeling has to be so strong that it has a logic, that it makes sense, that we feel what you feel. For me, it was like exactly there where it needs space because it's ornamented. It got smaller, tinier. To this kind of big intervals, you're trying to sing, right? Here. A good singer would never hit louder the top note. I don't think, I think you have this. You can do. Take it from the bottom note. And I need a warm vibrato. It takes too long until, it needs to glitter calmly. Yes. With this, because I think this phrase here, it's really setting the sound totally free. What I hear the sforzatis, but I hear piano in between. So I think you have to sing like this. You are in forte, so your dynamic actually is forte plus the sforzato. So the sforzato comes on the top of the forte. Yeah, so, but you have to feel this forte, and you have to feel this kind of, it's really triumphal, the arrival there. You have to feel how it grows and how you grow. Sometimes we are the subject, and sometimes we are the narrator. We tell a story. I think here you have to feel like you're the subject. Identify with what you're doing there. Mm-hmm. It's too much. There are too here. Yeah, you have to leave it. You know, you have to put light in the notes. Finish here. There is only one more thing that I would like to just suggest to you. When you come to this theme here, you have a lot of long notes. Keep the intensity there, and don't make a diminuendo just to have more power later, because you don't need that. You have to, you know, if you feel crescendo, it doesn't have to get above fortissimo or something, but one would feel the energy that you feel that it's a crescendo, though you are in forte or in fortissimo. You have, when you have here, you have to. No, it's very triumphal, this theme. Can I hear it one more time and then we finish? It's a direct, it's a direct feeling that you have there. It's not maybe, it's a yes. Direct from you. Yeah, you emphasize the wrong note, the wrong beat. Yeah. Thank you. Bravo. very beautiful, and it's you're very expressive. Each of you is very expressive. I think one of the difficulties in chamber music is to make out of, in your case, 4 personalities, one body, one complex body with 4 sides, at least 4 sides. But you need to feel a little more like one, I think. And it's a lot of interaction, of course, and it's a very special. This piano quartet is very special because I think it has a very clear and consistent color from the beginning until the end. Yeah, it's kind of heavy, it's kind of dark, reflective, and I think in that sense, it's not that difficult. It's difficult in this color to find different types of texture, I think. Motti, I need you to take more responsibility for the group. Because, you know, the piano, in a piano quartet, it's the backbone. And I think you need to have a little more initiative. And I'll come to you there so that we look a little bit together to what can be done. You know, for example, when you start, yeah, this forte, what kind of forte do you feel, what do you want to produce there? Because you're the first, you know, you open the piece.
Like some kind of bells of fate.
It has depth, right? Yeah. So can you really feel that you go to the bottom of the piano? You know, not so much in terms of volume. It needs to be forte, though. Yeah, but in terms of determination. You know, just to get, like, you know, it's convincing these first chords, and they can then, you know, continue from that. Yeah, let's see. You know, this was very good. I didn't hear your second note. You have to make sure that you pronounce it. Of course, it's less than the first note, but tiro, and keep the bow. I would keep the bow calm. Tiro, tiro, or up bow, whatever you decided to do. But the second note has to be heard, and don't come too early. Let the sound sink in. Yeah? And could it be like something a little more direct?
Oh.
I have a question here, just pure organization here. You start up, you start down. Have you tried to start the same? I would think the phrase goes, goes out from you, you know? I would start, oops, I would start down. It's still not present enough. Thank you. You know, you need to relate. So they finished. Your chord should initiate something else. So feel how they finished and what you can initiate then. Yeah, it should not be like a continuation. You relate to what they did by now, you know, creating some other kind of texture. Yeah, I still find in that chord, it's something, for me, it's not dramatic enough. Maybe it's the weight of it, I don't know. Yeah, I'm not pianist, yeah, and I cannot play piano, really. But I would imagine that from the keys down, yeah, so something that you can create volume. When you have this pickup here, it's strange, no? He puts for you crescendo there. So, how do you do the crescendo?
There's a little trick. You sort of press down the key and then you press down the pedal.
Yes. Can you try once thinking really crescendo and really going into the forte?
From pizzas.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sorry. I think it needs to be more persistent. Pai-ram, you know, to really try to create energy between the two notes. And maybe a little bit louder, the pickup, a little bit. Yes, and also not accentuate than the forte. Okay, one more time. The pizzicato, tam, bim, two different timbre in the, yeah, so the bottom note a little rounder. Tita, 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 without an accent there. Just sustain the note and be patient. You know, Motti, if you make here really long phrase until the crescendo, and when the crescendo starts, can you be a little more you know, provoking each other, reacting on each other, not keep the same like broad sound. Yeah. Here is very, very good if you have like, you know, full Brahmsian sound and long phrase, but then go a little more on dialogue here. Straight from forte, tika, 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 tika. Broad. Nicolas, when you start this, try not to start it with an accent. You know, it just start from where you left it also. Di-da, 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 di, and ta-da-da. It just changes direction. It goes up, but don't start with an accent. You know, I think this kind of, maybe you are a little more involved now, but this kind of involvement you need. Yeah, you should not think that, of course, one always says piano can be too loud sometimes, but I would not have that in the back of my head first, because it takes away a little bit from your involvement, you know? So this was judging from here, really, really great. Where is a good place to start from? Fortissimo?
Sure.
Is that okay?
Sure.
The-
Fortissimo.
Yeah, the downbeat. Yes. Can you do the last bar, just last bar before Nicolas comes in? And can you connect better? I think you need to be on the string already. Yes, yeah. Now it was very well connected. Now I wish you would find another texture, something warmer there. Yes, good. Youjin, don't start too soft because we don't hear your beginning, yeah? One more time, it was very good. Yes, thank you very much. You know, I think when you have all these comments and sequences going between each of you, that's where I find that you do two individual, this 16 notes. If you could play all this, try to create like a river of sound, you know, small creek, tiny, something with quick water, but that just goes from instrument to instrument. For me, it's a little too much. I hear every instrument, and it would be nice to have unity there. Samuel, I think you can prepare just a little bit before he starts this. You know, where I asked him to play a little warmer. I think you can just prepare a little bit the atmosphere. Maybe just a little bit calando without really slowing down. Yeah. The bar before he comes in. Yes. One more time, please. This. It's a bit loud. It's a bit loud, you know. Just try to connect to what, because after you have a crescendo, no?
Yeah. No, I have a
Or yes, but you don't have anything when you come in there. Exactly. So it's just or it's a hairpin. Yes, but the entrances should be in piano because it's a little bit too square. Ta-ra, the sound. Just a few bars before your. Yeah. What bar is that? Yes, 60. Yes. Can I ask you, when you have ti-ra-di-ra-ra, to emphasize a little bit the first note between the two notes, so that the calando goes from the ti-ra-di-ra-di-ra, so that it has a little more feeling of, weight, a little heavier, the first note. One more time there. Sorry, what is it's a la, no? A, no? Yeah, if you could make a little bit more the crescendo, and if you could just emphasize a little more, you see the first, the third, and the fifth, rather than or at least the first note in the bar, so that it leads then to the next theme. 66. We don't go back to that, but also you should not make too much diminuendo before he comes in, because then it's really difficult to have the right proportion of sound. 66. Okay, can you be a little more personal with this? If yes, in the sense that if it would be sonata for piano, what would you do? Comes like the first subject here. What do you do with it? You just play it how you feel it once. Yes, you see, you are a little freer with it now. I think you can go absolutely more with the dynamic, and also it's repeated rhythm, but one tone higher. So just make it more singing and with wishing to open a little bit. It's not a dark theme. This not completely dark anyway. Just the two of you here. Can you take his downbeat as being your sound? Because you always kind of sneak in too much. And it would be nice to have the line a little longer here. Though you have these hairpins, but just, melodically to keep the line a little longer. All of you? play alone this ti ti ra ra in forte, real forte, and really legato, really legato, really legato. Yeah, sorry, Motti, I wouldn't play absolutely equal this ti because you have legato ti ram pam pam pim ta ram pam pam pam. We need to hear the articulation more clearly. Ti ram pam pam pim. A little bit. It's still in forte. It's still in forte. Don't make a diminuendo. Okay, you see, my feeling is that they have like a variation on this. Yeah, it's kind of ornamental writing, but you carry them, so you have to be the main character here, and you set the color here. So I would play a little bit bigger this. Yeah, once again, all of you. You have to come out there with a clear identity of sound. So don't come without vibrato and then you warm up the note. The immediate vibrato. Yeah, can we have the and you know, Motti, you don't have. They have diminuendo, and then you have crescendo. So keep your phrase a little longer. I'm talking about 106, 7 to 8. Then you should do the diminuendo. No? I still wish to hear this more spoken. A little more articulation there. One more time, this time. I wouldn't rush the bar 109.
So.
Can you take 110?
One.
Re, re, do, si. And yes, on the B flat there, I would make the crescendo. And then you make a very beautiful bridge to the next. It's forte, it's forte. Yes, exactly. I would take just a little bit time, not extra time, but calm in that bar, not shorten it. Hmm? Yes, very good. You know, I think first here, you have to create more darkness with your left hand. And then from 131, more light with the right hand. So create different kind of, you know, color there. Straight on 126. we'll have to stop soon. But there is something that I noticed. You do all on purpose second note softer, which should not be stronger than the first beat. But by doing so much, and all of you, instead of having a long line, you have many fragments. And musically, you don't do justice to the writing, which is quite full, quite rich. So I would not accentuate for sure the second note, but I would not play because it sounds also mannered, a little bit like, Can you take ones from the fortissimo there? And really free with the bow in the chords. No, ta-ta-ta-ta. I think, Motti, what I would like you to think a little more about, that every time you have something that it's leading in the character, to pronounce it a little more, because sometimes it sounds to me either you are careful or you save a little bit. You should never save, because what you give, you get back. Yeah, so always give maximum. You see, here, for example, in 154, I think you need a left hand here to help the connection to the next bar and to the next bar. So when you have a constant color dynamic, yeah, forte, fortissimo, try to have the energy be present all the time there. Because otherwise the danger is it gets like routine, you repeat and repeat. And you should always see how you can go one step higher so that when the music goes up, yeah, there is an accumulation of energy. You naturally should follow that. Okay, bravo.
Thank you.
Good. Anna, many beautiful things, and of course it's one of the most difficult pieces that there is for both violin and piano. But you know, it's very big piece. We are running late, yeah. But just a few ideas that maybe you can think about, and you can see how you can apply them. Generally, don't ever forget that in Schubert it's a lot about singing, you know. And also when you have something that it's very articulated, that it's fast, spiccato, you know, the shortest note still has a length. Sometimes I lose the projection. It's too tiny sometimes. And just for an example, here by the end, yeah, can you go by the... This, for example, also, you know, if you have something like this, to give a little bit more length, yeah, because it's a little bit, it's very nervous, which could fit the character, but in terms of how you really do it so that everybody hears, and it's still a singing line, should still be a singing line. I was also thinking when it comes to, you had earlier also, let me see where that is in the, yes, when you have these hairpins before the variations starts, just think a bit about the proportion, where you start the hairpin from, because if you start all the time from pianissimo, and then you have a hairpin, then it sounds a little bit weird in the context. And generally, every dynamic that you think it in context, contextual. How you go from piano to forte, for example, also has to be in the character, so that there is a unity. Otherwise, the result sometimes can be too much of effect. And effects, they exist, of course, but they're in a special category. But just let, you know, because since we don't have time, what I would like to do from the recapitulations, so to say, after the variations, and to the...
You mean the tempo primo?
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
You see, for example, this here, when you have the where are we here?
This hairpin?
Exactly, the hairpin. How far do you want to do it? You're in pianissimo. I would not go beyond piano, just in order to keep sense, because it's like you breathe a little bit in the phrase. So if you put, and also always before you put the bow, make sure that the finger is in the string. So that there is you pronounce the note there. Yeah, have the finger in the string, and you don't need to vibrate before, that's not necessary, but just, yes. Beginnings of phrase, when you have this here. Needs to be heard. It's a little bit foggy. I see. Play soft, play pianissimo as it says, but play a little louder in the left hand. So the pronunciation should be there. So press a little bit the finger in the string. To which note does the energy go here? Ram pam pam pa ram pa. To the half note, yes? Ram pam pam pi ram pam. Yeah. So because what you do tam pam pam pa ram pa pa. Really make that half note receiver of energy, and it should be something proud, I think, about this, It's festive and proud, and straight on that. Yes, okay, how would it be if you don't bend down, so you have... Stay alive from a kind of, brilliance in the vibrato. Yeah, can I hear once alone without Lindsay? You see, do two impulses, D, D, and now F, new. More on C. It's articulation. know, it should not do tam pam pam pam. You understand? So it's very important that we all should understand, you know, how the rhythm shapes the music. The rhythm not to be just a pulse thing, yeah, or mathematical thing, but really the impact that it has in the music shaping, in the musicality. Because here, if you put the right emphasis on the right notes, you get more liveliness in the phrase. And this phrase is very lively, actually. Can we hear again this? Until here, and it has all the time the same type of articulation. Tam pam pam param pam pam. Don't change that, because then it tends to become very heavy, and you lose exactly this celebratory character to it. Can we take the second half of it? Re do si. And. Make a principle out of how you play last notes. You should always like serve them on a silver plate, always. Don't ever let them go the back door, you know? They are the conclusion. It can be a mini conclusion, can be a huge conclusion, but they have to have quality and a life, yeah? Can you take this tagara? And the last note, give it, you know, generous. Give it away. Stretch the arm and vibrate on the left. Stretch the arm to the tip. Look at the ball. Ah, now you're talking. And vibrato, really. It was better before. Yes, you know, you have to, like, how long it takes? It's a quarter note, no? So, yes, in the context now. I find your piano color, it's a little too much only for you. Okay. You have to judge better if it goes to the last row of wherever you are. And be a little more generous in piano, because piano is more difficult to play than forte. So be careful so that you really have core in the notes, even though they are in piano. You know, this thing with the length of the last chords, you know, you don't have to think that you have to press more. It's not pressing more. It's setting the sound free, because otherwise it could get aggressive, and it should not be aggressive. You know, it's just a quick movement of the bow. Yes, and stay. You see, I stay in this angle. Yes, and vibrato on the. Yes. Yeah, something that has to be vibrant, you know? That was perfect. Okay. This was perfect because it was full and it was, you know, brilliant. Yeah? Okay, wherever you want from where we continue. Yes. When you start here again, I feel that I need a special vibrato for this note because it's an arrival, and also for this one. So I activate it with a little more frequency. When you play piano, don't ever hold your breath. When you play piano, say it. It's right here. Ta, 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 ta. Afraid that you don't have a quick enough tremolo? What is your concern here? Where is the problem? It's what?
That it would be too loud.
That would be too loud. No, it would not be loud because you see, you should not pay any attention to the bow. You have to have the rhythm here. You see, I just moved, however, but the rhythm is in the left hand. You know, I think what you need to think a little bit about this section here, because it's very playful, it's very celebratory, and it's very, because of the rhythm. But actually, it has a dark side to it. Yeah. It makes me think a little bit, you know, like Earl Koenig. Yeah. You know, there is a little bit of that, yeah. And it's also similar in a way to the rondo in B minor. There are things from that. So all this kind of a bit of threatening here and there, it's not bad, you know, to bring it in the character there. Okay, straight here. You press too much. Let it piano and longer. Breathe. I think this could be less short, maybe. Yum, pom, 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 pom. good. Can I hear once you play this, you know, feel it like a memory. Yeah, it comes at the end, it's from the beginning. Feel it really like a memory, and just don't think so much about what it says there, but think about how you can feel this very, very strong, you know, and about singing. You know, sing it warm, and try to be present in the sound. Sometimes I find that when you have long notes, you stay a little bit tense, you know, relax a little bit. Feel the inflections. The inflections are very important. It's like breathing in the sound. Coming from inside. The moment you let it come from inside, it doesn't, it's not a mechanical thing. Yeah? From where you start, yes. Yes.
Inflection that I think is very important is, you see, I feel that F needs a little bit of light there. Something with that interval.
Yes, even more sensitivity in the F. I think it would help if you don't keep too many fingers on the violin, if you really walk on the finger that you play. Yes. Yeah, that was nice. Sorry, this one sounds too neutral. Do something. Feel it. Sorry. Yes. I don't think they hear you here on this. You know, it's like it goes through these octaves, and each voice, each fragment has a timbre that, you know, you have to exploit better what the violin offers, you know. G string, we don't need to play it louder, but you get this fluffiness, you know, in the sound. If you keep it small, then it's, yeah, it blocks. I would let it fade away. You know, it's going away. It's gone already. It's just a memory of it. So don't keep the pace too concrete. Yeah. Can I ask you, why so long?
I'm singing like an extra bar.
Tom. Because it's a little bit artificial, you know. You have this hesitation, and you should feel that you're still in bum. You know, if it's too long, you lose the momentum, you know, when one feels natural to shock. Mm-hmm. Just a second. The last arpeggio. The last arpeggio. Just a little more bow. Yeah. more time, don't force. And a little longer the last note.
Longer?
A little bit.
Okay.
That's it. Bravo.